gentlemen, welcome to the Guns in Radio podcast. And now, give it up for your hosts, Chris, Caputo, and Dustin, Bonez.
What's up, everybody? It's Dustin, Bonez, and welcome to a very special remix edition of the Guns in Radio podcast. Today, we're going to be playing you two clips from two different episodes, all mashed together and remixed. First, we're going to check out episode 72, when we were joined by Ian, the guy that remixed, or the guy that I should say covered all of the Chinese Democracy leftovers and his album Too Late for Democracy, which is available on his YouTube channel and everywhere, which we will include links in the description for. He's going to talk about that. And this is a clip from 72 where we're going to actually, if you didn't get to hear it the first time, this way you'll get to meet him and listen to everything he has to say. But that's not all, because as you will hear, we're also going to be listening to some extra clips you may not have heard. For the song of the day, we're going to be covering State of Grace. Now, yeah, we did cover it in episode 7. We kind of anticipated you might have the song when we originally covered it. And there's a lot of dead air because we just couldn't play the song. But Ian gave us permission to use his version of the song whenever we did any of the songs that we are not allowed to play on the podcast. So, we're going to be remixing episode 7, and we're going to be inserting his version of the song into our old review. So, it's going to be something cool and brand new that we're making completely from scratch, and we really hope you enjoy it. And just take a listen, because there's going to be all kinds of cool stuff today that you may or may not have already heard, but some stuff will be airing on this channel, at least on this stream, for the very first time. The stream. I guess I should say this podcast feed, for the very first time. So sit back and enjoy this very special remix episode of the Guns and Radio podcast. It all comes down to this. We say that every week. But because every week could be the time when we finally implode. But we'll see.
We're not the mega powers. What is this? Like?
I disagree. I already said we're the greatest podcasters in the history of so far. So,
you sure are for me. I don't really listen to podcasts, so.
Oh, there you go. Even our guests.
From my point of view, you guys are the best.
Oh, thank you.
I like this kid. I like that attitude. Anyway, our guest of the day. You may know him from YouTube. You may know him from Spotify, all kinds of streaming platforms where his latest album is now available. We're going to get into that in just a moment. Please welcome Ian.
Hello there. That's me. I'm the guy he's talking about. I put out an album in 2019 titled 10 Years of Democracy. The original release date of the album, but 10 years later. So like... I think the 22nd of November 2018, but that didn't work out, so
it got delayed.
Got postponed to January of 2019.
The Chinese Democracy tribute album got delayed.
Yeah,
that's the tribute itself.
Fortunately, it wasn't that serious. So it basically features a bunch of songs of the original album, which I reworked quite a bit. But also songs that weren't on the original album, including Silkworms and Oh My God, and also a short instrumental of The General, like the only snippet I could find.
I think that's the only snippet that exists.
Yeah, basically. Like, I've heard rumors of longer bits, but this is the only bit, the only part of the song that I could find anywhere.
I'm told what I think about The General on here a million times.
Yeah, or like it doesn't exist, or it's just like changed names after 20 years now.
I think it doesn't exist. I think it's bullshit. I don't think it exists. I think it might have used to existed and then it got renamed, maybe.
Probably. That's my theory too on it. It's just like it's just evolved into something else. and like I guess we as like GNR hardcore fans are like still like dead set on it existing, but like just like our hopes for a new album, it's probably not going to happen.
It's probably that super long. It's probably part of that super long intro from Chinese Democracy, and it probably got whittled down, and that's probably what they used it for.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of different. I think it was supposed to be like the original intro. I think they were going to use it as an intro song of some sort, but it kind of got scrapped. But there's lots of rumors floating around this song because it wasn't actually part of the big locker the big locker leaks from 2000, like from last year.
Yeah,
which features a bunch of demos from 1999 to 2001. A lot of which are going to be on my new album. But yeah, it wasn't featured there, so there isn't that much to go on in terms of this song.
I mean, I don't know. I'm no fucking expert. I'm just a pessimistic asshole.
Yeah, I almost feel like it almost feels to me like some guy just composed this song and put it out there and then sold it as a new Guns N' Roses song. I mean, almost. I'm saying almost because I think there was like some rumors that it had been played at some sort of a party. I think at some point at Axl Rose's house.
Yeah, we made a joke about that last week, and then we didn't tell them where we were going with it. That way, if somebody out there doesn't know about that, they have to do their research. Or wait a week. That's what we were talking about. What song on your first album did you find brought you the most joy when you was doing 10 Years of Democracy?
Do you mean in terms of recording?
Yeah.
That's a tricky one, but I think it'd have to be. Boy, I mean, I've been working on this album for quite a while. Like, I initially was going to just copy every single bit from the original album that I heard 1-to-1, but yeah, I decided against it later. But yeah, I mean, getting to the question, I think it would have to be Scraped.
Scraped?
Yeah, I mean, it was rather easy to sing, which is my biggest problem. And it was pretty easy to play all in all, and it's really quite a banger.
Do you do all the instruments in the whole album?
Yeah, basically the drums are programmed. I play all the keys, the key instruments, the guitars, the bass. It's all there.
That's pretty dope, man.
Yeah, holy shit.
Huh.
And I don't use. I didn't use any pitch correction on the original, so my singing is pretty bad.
I didn't notice. I enjoyed it. I've heard it before. I use a couple of your tracks for things that aren't out there anymore to show songs to people without showing my hand.
Yeah.
And Caputo knows what I mean. And that's why I said, man, your cover of Hard School, I was really glad it was out there. Have you not had any kind of problems with the takedowns on YouTube? Have they not tried to fuck with you in any way?
Well, first of all, I don't think I got enough traction on my songs for that to be the case. But I think my work would be considered transformative enough to the point where it could not be taken down. Besides, now that it's in the hands of my distributors, it is technically considered a cover, like officially. So there's no way that they're going to take it down. Like,
so with that being said, I almost said this before the show, but I wanted to save it. So Hard School, you've got an official cleared cover of Hard School that's about to be released.
It has already been released.
Okay,
it's just not on most platforms because it's still pending. But at the moment, you can find it on Bandcamp and SoundCloud and YouTube.
Okay, so that means if GNR finally releases Hard School officially, that will be the cover.
Well,
He's
not
already
quite,
beaten them to the punch.
because I've credited a bunch of Guns N' Roses members of the time, Chris Pittman, Tommy Stinson, Axl Rose, of course himself, as songwriters. And since I didn't actually write anything additionally, I didn't credit myself. So technically, it's their song from a legal perspective. So I think it's all good. Like,
I don't know, man. What do you think, Chris? Does the cover come out second or first?
Oh, it's tough because I mean, like it's very complicated because we were covering a song that like was technically like an unreleased song, so it's very touchy on that. We gotta get like a lawyer on here to like get more in depth on this. But
A song that is so unreleased, if you admit you have it, you can go to jail.
I mean, think about it for a second. Imagine a big new album that's released soon, like in a week, say, is leaked, as they usually are, and some guy decides to post a cover on YouTube. That's not his song, obviously.
I mean, if he's got a distributor, though, and I mean, that makes it a horse of a different color. I would think.
Yeah, I guess I could see that, but I'm not sure. I'm really not sure on the legality, on the legal point of view of this situation here.
Well, I mean, what's legal is what we decide on this podcast right now. That's how it works in America and in Canada. So Caputo, you're the judge here since you're Canadian. That's how America law works. Chris, what do you think? You give us the final verdict on this, and we'll move on.
Shit. Dude's putting me on the spot right now.
I do that to you all the time.
Oh man, I'm not good at this.
So we're part of the jury then, I guess.
Oh, we don't do juries anymore. That's what they did in the 1800s.
Oh, okay.
Now we just do Chris Caputo. We just have him decide.
I'm just imagining what a Guns N' Roses podcast would be like in the 1800s.
Hey,
What's
someday we'll have
a bit devoid of content.
We tell tale of legendary bards that shall come along in 100 years. Excuse me 1 second, fellas. I had a crisis. I'll have to edit that out.
Oh, all right.
I thought I could let it go, but I cannot. The puddle was much bigger than I originally believed it to be, and one computer done crapped out, so I spilled water almost directly on this laptop.
Oh, shit.
Oh, crap.
Yeah. And then that would be my luck to short this one out the day after the big one craps out.
That's harsh.
Yeah. So what did Judge Caputo decide while I was away?
I'm still deciding right now.
You see, this is why it takes so long to get anything done in America. Right here. Mm-hmm. This is. It took us what? Almost a week to do a fucking election.
Yeah.
Caputo couldn't make his mind up.
No, because people couldn't fucking count votes fast enough.
Oh man, I thought they stopped counting. What happened to that?
They still are.
Yes, they still are. Anyway, let's not talk about that. We've been talking about that for what feels like 3 weeks now, because we did so many side by side. So tell us about your new album. When is it?
Well, sorry.
I was go ahead.
Yeah. Well, it features. So as I said before, there was this big leak of a bunch of Guns N' Roses songs from 1991 to 2001 last year. I think around June. And so I basically am covering multiple songs from this big leak that occurred back then.
Nice.
Of course, including Hard School. It includes a song called Atlas Shrugged. It includes it includes As It Began, which is like a an instrumental piano song,
Nice.
and many others like Dub Suplex, Circus Maximus, and a bunch of other really obscure songs from this league. So, and some of them I bunched up together in a big 10-minute long medley.
That's cool.
With some pretty strong progressive metal influences. So kind of a bit of a Dream Theater kind of thing going on towards the end.
Right on.
I mean, in terms that you probably understand, I don't think you listen to much progressive metal, so I
listen to different music. I mean, we
Yeah,
talk about
I've
different
dabbled.
music often. Yeah.
Cool. And yeah, it closes with like a stripped down piano and vocal version of Perhaps.
Nice.
And basically what's interesting about this, I think, is that this album is actually a concept album. It runs around themes of betrayal and murder between a group of 3 people who have known each other for a really long time. And so, well, you have to listen to the album in order to get it, but
When
that's
will
basically-
when will the full thing be available?
well, I don't know yet. At the moment, my distributor is still like my album is still pending by my distributor, but I think it should be available everywhere. I think in about 2 to 5 days, maybe.
Oh, nice. From
Yeah.
today or from when?
Yeah.
Oh, so by the time you guys hear it, it should be now available.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Nice. Okay, so the big question. Actually, that's not a fair question to ask you on air. We'll we'll move forward. We'll talk after the show. I usually will put you on the spot. Remember when we had Matt Manzel on, and I wanted to get him to write me a song about the comment section from what was it, Amazon? It's a running meme, I guess. Now every few months I'll go check it again just to see how ridiculous it's gotten. But if you go to Amazon.com and you look up Haribo sugar-free gummy bears, people write reviews for this product that are like reading a fucking novel, and it's. The wording of it is always very novel-esque, but reminds me of like an Iron Maiden song. Like the fire it flowed from but they're always talking about the diarrhea that it gave them. And it's like a molten burning pit of waters from hell. And
There are a bunch of aspiring writers, I tell you.
and
This is part of their like education. You have to write a long ass novel about sugar-free gummy bears to prove your writing skills.
Oh man, some of them are really. I mean, they're all kind of funny, but like some of them just go into this long detail telling the story of like just an average that plays out like a movie, and then like everything just takes a horrible twist. Like it always starts out innocent. Like I was on my way. I had a flight to catch. We were 1,000 feet up in the air, so I tossed a couple of these gummy bears in my mouth, and so we were 1,000 feet above, and then all hell broke loose as I began to sweat. And that's where they go into the most detail. It's like the sweat poured from my face, and and it's one of those things you got to read. So we had another musician on a few weeks ago, and his music suits itself to kind of similar to the same style of metal as Iron Maiden. So yeah, I'm still trying to get that album made.
It's for reasons like this that I absolutely love the internet. It's this kind of random and weird stuff that it just clicks somehow from a comedic perspective. It just clicks.
Yeah. I don't know how the fuck that got started, and I don't know why. Like, you'd be surprised. Most
That's the
people don't
funny
know
part about it. That's the intrigue, you know?
Most people don't know about it. Like, I mean, you don't go to work and tell somebody about the review section for Haribo sugar-free gummy bears.
It's not water cooler talk.
No, it is definitely not. A buddy of mine found it while we were sitting on the porch. Like, dude, read this shit. And then we started checking it every few months. But man, so what other albums have you come up with? Like, have you got any original material out there? People, something you can make some money off of while you're here?
Well, yeah, I do to some extent, but they're just demos at the moment. Like I've composed things like back in 2017 when I was 15.
Nice.
I was pretty young, so I wrote basically a song that's it's basically Watch This by Slash, but like with a different riff.
Nice.
Nice.
Hey, if you can pull it off, fuck.
Why not?
But I plan to move on to original material after this settles. So I'm probably gonna release like another single with like maybe Prostitute as a B-side, much like I did with Going Down and Going Down with This I Love as a B-side. But I think from now on, I'm in a band, and I think from now on I'm gonna start just releasing periodically. I think every year, maybe a couple of songs. While I'm in my band, because I want to focus on the band that I'm in at the moment.
What's the name of your band?
Intergang. It's
okay.
I live in Austria, and they're an Austrian band. We do sort of hard rock, progressive rock, mildly progressive, nothing too serious, but it's mostly hard rock.
Nice.
Right. Nice. How's has any of that been affected by all of the events that have gone on this year?
Well, we were going to play a gig back in March. Like we more or less made plans sort of between ourselves, nothing official, that we'd maybe play a gig like in March or April. And we made those plans in November of last year. And as you can imagine, that never panned out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, we weren't really all the way in for we weren't really committed to gigs yet, so it wasn't that serious. So we just practiced every week.
Right on.
But yeah, no, it wasn't anything serious for us anyway.
So
Chris, you had some questions you wanted to ask also, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, since this is like a Guns N' Roses themed podcast, I gotta start with some simple ones here. I guess, how many times have you seen the band, and also give us like the story of how you first got into Guns N' Roses, the music and everything in between there.
All right. Well, the first and only time I've ever seen the band was live at a concert in Vienna. I think it was 2018. Of course, at a massive stadium, it being the Not in This Lifetime tour and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, I was kind of too young to really be at any concerts. I'm only 18 now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But
I did not know that.
I haven't had a bunch of I haven't had too many opportunities to see them live. But the first time, like the time I really got into Guns N' Roses was, I think, back in. I mean, I initially had listened to the Greatest Hits album when I was like 8 or 9. My dad ripped it from me from a completely legal site. I'm not going to get into any details. And ripped it to a CD, and I had my CD player, and I played the Greatest Hits album off of that. But yeah, it was nothing serious. I really started getting into Guns N' Roses when I was in middle school. I was really into the To Use Your Illusions albums. And then I heard Chinese Democracy. Initially, when I heard Chinese Democracy, I was like, what the hell is this crap? It just struck me. It was really weird and odd and was nothing like the Guns N' Roses I knew and loved. But it just kind of grew on me, you know?
It does that. It has a way of doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the
It's
only
weird.
GNR we've had for 12 years.
Yeah. And it's probably the only GNR we're gonna have ever.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't know, there's not much hope right now.
So what other bands inspired you to do music besides just GNR?
Well, there's Korn,
Okay.
there's Marilyn Manson,
Fine.
and there's this progressive rock band called Porcupine Tree. I'm not sure if you've heard of them. I really love them. Like I've started to get into them quite recently, and they've really inspired me to produce a lot of music.
I'll check them out.
But those are like
Yeah,
the
definitely.
main bands. I think, yeah, I would also mention Alice Cooper. Like ever since I think I heard Welcome to My Nightmare, like the 2011 album, Welcome to My Nightmare. I just fell in love with his music.
Yeah. Oh, dude, have you guys seen Alice Cooper's new guitar player?
With the chick, or
Nita
Yeah.
Strauss. Yeah.
oh yeah, Nita Strauss, right? That's her name.
Nice.
Super talented.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
amazing. I think she's really bringing the shred back to Alice Cooper, because he used to have a really good shredder back in the 80s. So he's going to be able to play some of those songs now in his
In his 80s.
concerts.
Yeah. I mean, he's almost
There aren't a
there,
lot
I
of
think.
concerts coming up for Alice Cooper soon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It'd be nice to be able to go see anything again.
Yeah, I think
Man,
in general, I'm down.
I went to see Alice Cooper like a couple of years ago. Man, I was blown away. It was like probably my most favorite rock show ever.
No,
The
it's an epic
performance
show.
is just amazing. It's more than just the music. That's the beauty of it.
Well, yeah, that's what every really good concert is going to be. It's going to be more
Yeah.
than just the music, regardless of what the fucking purists and gatekeepers try to say. Like, nobody goes to a concert just for the fucking music. I mean, you go for the experience. If everybody went just for the music, fuck, GNR wouldn't draw worth a damn anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially since that reunion. I mean, I'm sorry, but I liked it better the way it was.
Yeah, the 60% reunion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it more or less feels a bit like a cash grab. Really, I really don't get the feeling that they're just. I really get the feeling that they're just doing this because it's making them tons of money.
Well, I mean, that should have been their motivation to stay together in the first damn place.
Yeah. But,
I mean, I'll never fault anybody for going where the money is. I don't believe in hating on a band for being successful. I hate Metallica
Sure.
because they're greedy bastards. They sued their fan base.
Cough Napster.
Yeah, never forget. Never forget.
No, but I think to some extent I'm mad at bands that sort of go against their own principles just for the sake of making money. You know, like they start off I don't know, playing something really experimental or really out there, and they're all about, you know, not being greedy fucks, and then they just decide to flip and just
And then we got another theory of the Dead Man clone.
yeah. Pretty much.
Which is a Breaking Benjamin clone.
Oh. Yeah. Alternative rock in the 2000s is an interesting time.
How it all sounds the same. Like that song we listened to,
Sorry,
Saturday?
that other song we listened to a couple weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, tell everybody where they can go to find your music, and then we'll go and get into our song of the day. Any kind of links you want to share.
Well, I have a Bandcamp. It's at, well, first of all, I have a website. It's just like my name, official.com, all in one, without any minuses or anything. And I have a Bandcamp, which is just basically inofficial.bandcamp.com. but those are like my main links. My website
Alright.
isn't that great. I really haven't put much work into it. I hope to program myself a proper website because I am also a developer. So
There's something about the charm of these old GeoCities websites that are still up and about.
GeoCity websites.
Oh, that's right. He's too young to know about it. Never mind. You had to be there.
Yeah, it's an old person joke.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, you fucking boomer?
I think I thought of it because yesterday, when I was editing the Slash a Snake Pit song we did last week, I found an old Snake Pit website made on GeoCities.
Really? There's an actual Snake Pit website?
No, it's a fan site.
It's a fan.
Oh, I
one.
see. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, that still exists from like 20 years ago. Jeez.
And what's bad is it has a link, like a URL, so somebody has been renewing this URL year after year after year to keep
It'll be
this.
like the year, be like 2100, and someone would be like, "Slash Snake Pit? That existed?"
Holy
Yeah,
crap!
it
Yeah,
is.
there's snakepit.org. I just saw it. Oh
That's
my
the one.
goodness.
That's the one.
Oh my god.
Wow,
Yeah.
it looks stunning.
It's got that 2001. Well, look, kid, that's what the internet used to always.
I'm really loving that repetitive background of rocks.
This is what it looked
Rocks.
like back in our day. This is what every website looked like.
Oh man. Do you think we're gonna get a libel lawsuit for calling out the guys who made the website?
No, they're not listening to us.
I doubt it.
And if they are, we're always looking for guests. You're welcome to come on our show and answer our questions directly. Or if you just want to be a little bitch, you can send us hate mail. And remember, as I tell you every week, you can send your hate mail to on Twitter at Caputo212.
You
That
just keep
is-
sending these clowns my way. No one's actually bit the bullet yet on this, so I'm still waiting.
That is the official place where Guns and Radio gets our hate mail. So if we've ever made fun of your homeland or anything else,
Made fun of too many of them already, even our own.
yeah.
On a scale from 1 to 10, how many death threats do you get?
I don't know. I don't have access.
I haven't gotten any yet.
gotten.
Oh,
It's getting boring now. What the fuck?
Well,
So,
it's because with the coronavirus. Let me think of how I want to word this. With the coronavirus out there, there's not enough. What's the word I'm looking for? Anarchy in the world. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. So go riot or something, people, and be sure to attack something that people love. Statues. There we go. Statues need to come down. So we got to get rid of them statues. That pisses people off.
well, like all of them.
All of them. Every
All the
statue
statues.
ever. Yeah. Not just the
crap.
Civil War, not just anything like that normally triggers people. We need to just get rid of them all. And I'm talking like the Statue of Liberty. I'm talking about all of them. So people, go out there, and I hope the government destroys all your favorite statues. That seems to piss people off on the news a lot. So you can send your hate mail to Caputo212 and let us know how you feel about this issue in politics. I ain't never understood why people get so pissy about a statue.
Yeah.
It's a goddamn statue. Just take it down. Shit.
Well, it's really an emotional issue for a lot of people. There's a lot of meaning to a statue. It's a work of art. After all, there's a lot of meaning it carries in addition to its just mere existence. So, I mean, I can sort of empathize with it to some extent.
The only one we'll keep is the statue of David.
We're gonna chop his dick off, though.
So that we can remind women what a normal sized penis looks like.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a little pause for a second so me and Chris can tell you about Anchor by Spotify.
Only the easiest way to make a podcast. You got everything you need all in one place.
Anchor has all of the tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
Also, hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast to all sorts of listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more.
So it really is everything you need to make a podcast all in one place.
And best of all, you're going to be surprised when you hear this. Anchor is totally free.
When we first got started, we paid for platforms to host our show that were not nearly as good and functional even as Anchor is. If you want to start your own podcast, then by all means, you should download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. All right, so with that, Chris, are you ready to check out State of Grace?
I am ready, because I didn't really listen to this like that many times. It's a good song, but I don't know, there's more other stuff that I was like putting on repeat during the leak season.
Better stuff.
Oh no, stuff that like enticed me more, I guess, like that, like right off the bat was like, oh, this is good shit,
Yeah, I really hate the $3 pyramid wasn't much more than what it was.
It was still good though to see like this stuff was like halfway done, like 8 years, like 10 years before this stuff came out.
Yeah. What the fuck was realdoll.com? Have you heard that?
I heard it like a couple times, but like, yeah, a lot of those instrumentals are interesting. Would I ever listen to them again? Probably, but I'm not gonna like be like, oh, I'm like not gonna go out of my way to listen to it if it comes up in a shuffle, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah. All right. You mean if you had it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did this to like once or twice. I was like, whatever.
All right, from the get-go, we get a little bit of a more, I think, could use some more distortion on the guitar, but a really okay introduction to something that's it's going to be a slow song.
Yeah, it's a very slow, like sort of very industrial, this song, I'd say, in some sorts.
Right. It's really dark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's move on. I'm gonna hit play.
Play.
What can I say? Free will was blind today. The choice that you made is not a road that I would take. To abuse and betray, the time will come for you to pay.
Okay, is it me? I am very underwhelmed with the verses in this song. Like, from the get-go here, it just is... It sounds like Axl reading bad poetry rather than it does him singing a kick-ass song.
Yeah, it kind of does. I think when you bring it up like that, I never really thought about it like that. But when you do like bring it up that, I'm like, it does kind of sound like that.
He doesn't sound very interested in this song, at least not here in this first verse.
Yeah. Well, this is still rough, so I mean, like,
well,
for a rough mix,
I mean,
decent.
You got to give it a break at some point, because probably even the lyrics aren't finished yet. So.
Yeah, I mean, even a couple songs we got from, the whole Leakamania this past few months, there was one where just him going like, ah, 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 ah. So, like, there was stuff like that, like, it was just like, where, like, I guess it's supposed to sound that way, but there's no, like, vocals, just him going like, ooh, nah. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
All right, here goes.
And it's not far away. This end you cannot evade now.
All right, before we get in the chorus, does he say tears that go unexplained, or because I'm having trouble like deciphering some of the lyrics here?
Yeah, so not far away with tears that go unexplained now.
Okay, so I was right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's listen some more. this would had this came out in the time that it was originally supposed to. I think I don't know if this would have been a hit, but this might have got more radio play.
Yeah, it could have been like a promotional single. I think would have been good.
Like a B-side.
Yeah, like a B-side for sure. Would have been good for a B-side.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
You know they say it's just a passing phase, no longer a game. Another problem of the human race goes right to your brain. Cut out that hidden praise with no sense of shame. So many memories to be erased now.
All right, so we're about to go into the second chorus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still underwhelmed with I mean, granted, okay, when this first dropped, I was stoked because it was like, whoa, dude, new GNR song, and I probably liked it a lot better than now that it's been a month or two, and
Yeah, even longer. Yeah,
the dust has settled on it a little bit. This isn't one I find myself returning to.
yeah, same here.
I gotta be honest, man. Axel sounds bored as fuck. I mean, it's. I've heard him do so much better, and that's probably you get into some of these unreleased songs, you start figuring out why they were unreleased.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's just move on. Get it over with.
Let's do it.
All right, it's about to pick up here in a second. We're building up to something.
This is where it gets really fucking good. This is the best part of the song, I'd say.
Oh, yeah, yeah. All right, so I guess we're going into the final chorus here in just a second. Now we've got the part where Axel starts to hit them high notes and really get into it. But the problem with it is I have no idea what he's saying there. I guess I could look it up on the AZ lyrics.
Yeah, there's a lot of question marks in certain parts here, especially near this part.
Oh, so I guess that's the mystery then.
Yes, that's the real mystery behind this song.
Yeah. One thing about Axel I've noticed in his writing, a lot of times he writes how people talk. Like it still rhymes. Like with Better, how things seem to rhyme. What's the word I'm looking for? Almost like when you're talking to somebody and then you say a couple of words that rhyme together and you don't really notice it. And then you catch yourself. Like, if I were you, I'd manage to avoid the invitation of promised love that can't keep up with your adoration. That's just how people talk.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
I mean, that sounds like he's writing a love letter more than he's writing a poem.
I feel like that's like half his songs, though.
Huh?
I feel like that's like a lot of Axel stuff. I don't know, maybe like half his stuff, but there's like a chunk of stuff that's like sort of lovey, but it's like the other side of love, where it's like really fucked up.
Yeah, But if you go like that, it's probably, when you really think about it, it's probably something obvious.
Yeah.
Because his lyrics can sometimes be simplistic, and yet fucking genius.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't know if this is an example of that, but you got to remember, we're over here tearing apart and scrutinizing a piece of art that the artist wanted crammed in the attic and forgot about. So we're kind of the assholes in this episode. There's no getting around that. But that's
when you ain't releasing new music.
That's what we do on this show, is we review songs.
Yes.
So it's got to be an honest review.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm going to play the rest of it here. So that was State of Grace. Chris Caputo, let's vote. Do you want to release it or decease it?
Ooh. I don't know. I wouldn't want to say like kill it entirely. I think like if there was like, you know, enough more work, I guess, put into it, I would want to see it released. This would have been a good like filler probably for Chiden 2 or 3 or whatever. So I mean, I would definitely want to like see a lot of this stuff see the light of day. So I would say with some fine tuning and other things.
Right.
Maybe rearrange some shit around. Definitely release it.
Okay. I'm going to be the asshole and say count your losses and move on. There's some great lines here that I think you could pull and use for another song.
Yeah, sure.
I love Axl Rose as an artist, and I know he could do better. And the Mona Lisa, was it the Mona Lisa that they did the x-ray on and found out it had been painted over like 28 times or some shit?
Maybe. I've never heard this, so.
One of those famous paintings, they did an x-ray on it, and it turns out that the artist had painted over it like a whole bunch of times. So I feel like this is like one of those canvases that's going to get painted over probably and revisited in another way. I think if Axl does release it again, or does ever end up actually releasing it, that it would be a situation where we wouldn't recognize it, because it would just be parts of things that was the inspiration for the song reworked entirely.
Yeah, I think the next time you'll hear this is if they ever do a Chiden box set or something, like an anniversary box set. Otherwise, you get this, a rough mix.
Yeah, Axl will be 102 years old, and it'll be like that Shadow of Your Love. But there you got it. I mean, you can't be too hateful about it, because at the end of the day, he didn't want this out. Like, we got a hold of it. And it's kind of our thing on this show to review songs.
Yes.
So
Oh, absolutely.
it
That's the whole
came up
model
in the
here.
lottery. It got reviewed.
All right, guys, so there you have the remixed review of State of Graves. Hopefully all of that made sense, even with the new music added. But don't go anywhere because, I did promise you that you were going to be hearing some stuff that you've never heard on this feed before. Well, here it is. To close out the show, we're going to be playing you the clip from that week's episode of GN Extra, where Ian joined us, and we continued to hang out and shoot the shit pretty much after the show. So we hope you enjoy this, and thanks for checking out this edition, the special remix edition of the Guns N' Radio podcast.
If you thought our last episode was a clusterfuck, well, I guess by the time they hear it, it won't have been, because it'll be nice and polished.
Yeah, we had it down pretty well, so I can't complain.
Man, I mean, well, thank you, Ian, for coming on here with us, and
No, thank you for having me. I mean, this is my very first interview I've ever had in any way, shape, or form. So
well,
I
hopefully
feel so honored.
Hopefully your next one goes better than this, folks.
Yeah.
How could it?
Oh, wow.
I'm having a great time here, guys. Don't worry about it. Don't sweat it.
Folks, if you're tuning into Extra, you hopefully you couldn't tell on Guns N' Radio by the time the edit was made. Anything that could go wrong in our last episode that we just taped went fucking wrong. Like my computer crashed this morning. I spilled water on the backup one right at the beginning. We ran out of Zoom freebies, so now we had to keep doing multiple takes. And what the fuck else happened? Surely something else happened that we just don't know about yet.
It all just comes crashing down one way or another.
Yeah, and then we put it right back up. That's how we do.
Yeah, I mean it's Murphy's Law, right?
Yeah.
Heard of Murphy's Law.
Yeah, in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, today anything that could go wrong on this show is going wrong, other than us. The only thing that could be worse is if we end up not having any recordings. That could be that would be worse.
Double checking out while you can.
Yeah.
That's what took me so long to send you guys the links. The recordings weren't converting, and I had to go manually convert them. So, yeah, pain in the ass.
Literal.
Yes. It's pain in the ass. But anyway, we're here on Extra now. Here's the Extra is the show where we get together and we bitch about
Other things. We just continue with the conversation from the main into here. Sometimes play some other music, do other shit here, preview next week's episode, stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't really think there's much to preview on Just Another Sunday.
Yeah, it's a rare GNR song. So that's another one because we did It Tastes Good.
Yeah.
That was one of the ones that was played live 5 times. And this one it's never been played live, but I think it was some demo or studio recording that got out somehow.
Yeah, back when nobody cared about leaks.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, all the good ones happened in the last 2 years, so.
I wanted to play. Were we gonna play another one of Ian's song or Ian's?
Yeah.
Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Is it Ian? It's Ian, right?
Yeah, it's iron. It's like
Okay.
iron.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was making sure I'm saying it right before I insult my guest here, because that'd be the thing. That'd be the thing right there.
Trust me, if I were insulted every time somebody said my name wrong, I would have a terrible life. So
Well, if I was insulted every I said my real last name wrong, I mean, one person has ever got it right, and that's my boss. And it's not that complicated.
from that moment, you knew that you guys would be working together forever.
I still don't know that.
Oh boy.
I try to keep them stats up. I try to keep them numbers up. Try to keep my team's numbers up. Keep them people working.
Work your ass, fool.
Damn right.
Mhm.
I done did my time as the worker. Now I get to do my time as the leader, aka I do a hell of a lot more work now.
Or do
Man,
you at least get the pleasure of commanding your little minions around?
there ain't no pleasure in it, man.
like
It ain't near
this.
as fun as what they make it out to be. Like when you see a supervillain yelling at his minions, that shit looks like fun. But in real life, it ain't that much fun, man. Because then you feel bad.
Yeah, man. It's
like,
damn
dude,
freaking empathy.
my thing is, how many times do I got to pretend like I didn't see you come in 20 minutes late before you fucking show the fuck up on time, dude? Like, I've let it go and let it go and let it go, but now other people are starting to notice. And when other people start to notice, they come and say something to me.
What's your job, though? Because, I mean, the fact that people are coming late is usually not an issue where I usually see people working around in my community, because I'm studying to become a developer, and usually when you're a dev or you work in IT, you know, people don't mind if you come in like an hour or two late. You know, what matters is that you just do the work. Nobody cares what time you come or what time you leave. You just need to do work.
You live in a very progressive country.
Yeah.
In America, things are a little more backwards.
I don't know. What do you work though?
I'm not going to say on my show. I'm not going to say on the show. Sorry, I don't. But
all right, it's fine.
Let's just say that I provide a service. Yeah. I don't provide shit. Our company provides a service.
Well, you know.
Yeah. I don't know why it matters if they're late or not. I really don't. Like, I mean, they do the same amount of shit. Fucking, if you come in 20 minutes late, just stay 20 minutes late for all I care. But
yeah, that's what the philosophy should be. I mean, of course, the whole thing with being late is also quite a is a thing everywhere, even here. But I come from more of a privileged background where, you know, you can be kind of late because you're paid a shitload of money. Just sit at the desk, be creative.
Well, I don't have that kind of background, but
yeah, no, a lot of people don't. A lot of people have to be on time.
I don't really get what it matters. I mean, like there is a certain time where we're open for business, where then it's time.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, like when we open and, you know, you're interacting with the public and the public is expecting you to be there at a certain time, then you need to be there at a certain time. But as far as like, we opened the doors like an hour beforehand, and most of these folks ain't got shit to do before, you know, the public is ready to join us. And so what do I care? I make it sound like I work in like a fast food chain. I don't just work in
You're the manager.
I mean, that's like the first thing I picture. Like, sorry, it's not you, but like usually when I think like, I don't know why.
Well, it's a call center. Let me put it that way. There we go. I'll say that much. I work in a call center.
All right.
But I don't actually work in it anymore.
Yeah, I get that.
Oh man.
Yeah, but it's like I really don't want to get into sort of a more political theme, but you know, it's part of the way corporations sort of keep you in line there. In America, corporatism is a lot more strong than it is in Europe. So corporations are way more willing to sort of to play rough with their employees, you know.
Yeah.
It's tough. I can imagine for you,
Uh,
or not
I
for you
mean,
necessarily, but for the people that are under you, especially.
no, I try to make their lives as happy as possible. I've
Yeah,
always,
of course.
I've taken like, I mean, there's two ways when you get into management. One of two things is going to happen. You're either going to get a big head and act like an asshole, or you're gonna do a decent job. And that's the thing is I don't want to be. I want to do a good job. I always seen it as my when I was getting into business a long time ago. I had a mentor that hired me for my first decent paying job.
Yeah.
And the way she always told it to me is like management works for you, but not you as a individual. You see what I'm saying? Management works for the team. The team works for the
Yeah.
public. And so a part of working for the team is if one person is doing something that's hindering the team and making everybody else's life difficult, that person needs to not do that thing anymore.
Yeah, of course.
One way or the other. And that's the negative side of it. But also, when they're doing very well, more people. So far, I've gotten 2 people promoted. So I've only
Good
been
on
in
you.
the role. How long was it that I started this job, Chris? About a month ago, wasn't it?
Month and a bit. Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
say.
about a month and a half. Yeah. So I'm not in it just for me. There's a lot of taking care of people, and then people can't see that you're trying to take care of them. They aren't, because like it's a thankless job. You do all this shit for people, and then the first time they got to come in on a day they don't want to come in, it's like you never listen to me, you never do this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I
yeah,
understand.
but it pays more, so fuck it. Because at the end of the day, they call number one for a reason, and that's whose interest I'm gonna.
Yeah, it's the reason why we all put up with shit like this, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So before we go, you want to play another one of Ian's songs?
Yeah, man. Let's close out extra. I'm like torn because there's a couple songs from 10 Years of Democracy I want to drop here, but
Let's do Shackler's Revenge.
all right, yeah, because that one's like I love how like you turn that and just like flip the whole thing 180 and turn it into like friggin' like slow, like brooding, like doom metal kind of song. So let's end it off with that.